That's the reaction from inside the home of the Wofford Terriers, as fans are clearly very happy their team has made it to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. That announcement was expected, but it's that number 7 seed that's quite extraordinary. That's the highest seed for a Southern Conference team since 1979. We'll have much more on the Terriers' first round matchup later in the newscast, plus more on the postseason fate of other South Carolina teams. But first, neighbors living near a facility in Union County are being advised to stay indoors tonight as officials monitor a huge tank holding liquid asphalt that had caught on fire this morning. Officials say that fire is under control, but air quality is being monitored in the area. The fire started this morning at Southeast Emulsions on Jonesville Highway in Union. That tank holds over 2 million gallons of liquid asphalt, and it is at capacity. Firefighters have been dousing it with water for much of the afternoon in an effort to cool down the asphalt inside. Officials say the tank was overfilled, spilling material in between the tank itself and its outer shell where insulation had caught on fire this morning. So now they're taking off the outer shell piece by piece to repair the tank. As that work continues, officials recommend residents within a 1-mile area of the tank to stay inside.
We believe we got it under control at this time, or just for safety precautions. We advise them to stay within a 1-mile radius for every resident within the 1-mile radius of the plant, just for safety precautions. Just stay indoors for right now.
Right now, I feel for sure slim to none. You know, but I always got to be prepared for worst case scenario. So that's the reason I got a lot of outside resources headed this direction.
That was the Fire Chief Scott Austin speaking with the media earlier today, talking about how he felt like the fire was contained, explaining that the 1,500 gallons of foam concentrate that they had on the scene was just in case the fire had gotten worse. But again, he says that tank is not leaking anymore. The fire is under control. No one was hurt. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the scene once that scene is clear on WSPA.com and the 7 News app. To New Zealand now, where the grieving continues in the wake of the deadliest mass shooting in that country's history. As the families of the 50 victims wait for authorities to release their bodies for burial, the Prime Minister and her cabinet are discussing how to prevent similar attacks in the future. Meg Oliver has the story.
In Christchurch, New Zealand, crowds continue to pay their respects outside 2 mosques where more than 4 dozen worshippers lost their lives.
Your support is overwhelming. I just want you to know that. And we're not going to allow few fanatics to divide our community. We're one.
According to investigators, the evidence suggests the gunman acted alone. The 28-year-old Australian is one of 3 suspects arrested after the attack, but police say the others were not involved.
We're all gobsmacked. We don't know what to think.
The suspected killer's family went on television to express their shock and their sorrow at his alleged involvement.
We're so sorry for all the families over there, for the dead and the injured. Yeah, we just can't think nothing else. Just want to go home and hide.
The attacker reportedly adhered to a white nationalist ideology that painted immigrants as invaders and mentioned President Donald Trump by name in a 70-page manifesto. President Trump was asked if that movement poses a growing global threat. Mr. Trump said he didn't think so.
It is on the rise, and the president should call it out, but sadly, he's not doing that.
Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney said the criticism is misdirected.
Every time something bad happens everywhere around the world, folks who don't like Donald Trump seem to blame it on Donald Trump.
New Zealand's Prime Minister said her government is exploring ways to prevent another mass shooting, an effort that could lead to stricter gun laws. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
We learned tonight the owner of a gun store in Christchurch now says he sold 4 weapons to the alleged mosque shooter through a police-verified mail order process. Meanwhile, of those injured, 34 remain in the hospital, including 12 in intensive care. Closer to home, leaders of the Islamic Society of Greenville organized a unity event to show their support following the horrific attack in New Zealand. 7 News reporter Stephanie Borman has the story.
The carefully planned terror attack in New Zealand has shaken the Islamic Society of Greenville to its core, members calling it an act of evil.
People went to their mosque on Friday to pray on our holy day, our most holy day, and they didn't come out. I mean, that made me start worrying that when we go here on Friday, what if one day somebody shows up and tries to do the same to us?
Ayman Eslata says standing by quietly in mourning is not an option anymore. That's why the Islamic Society organized this event to stand in solidarity with its counterparts in New Zealand and mourn the innocent victims.
We want to allow people to come, reach out to us, get to know us for who we are, to hopefully displace some of the misconceived notions that surround all the hate.
But it's also a chance to unite members of other faiths.
I'm out here because of my Muslim friends.
Sydney Rogers is here with her message of love. She says it pains her to know people she loves live in fear.
I'm very distressed about this event, and I'm very distressed about similar events that we've had here in the United States in the last 2 years. It's like in a strong sense, America is promoting that.
Amina hopes people of all faiths can come together to abolish hate, spread peace and unity, and prevent another tragedy.
Because we're all human at the end of the day. Even if we disagree with each other, with our beliefs, we can still maintain basic human dignity, respect, value for each other's lives.
Stephanie Borman, 7 News.
Local Islamic leaders say their hearts go out to the victims and their families, and they will continue to pray for the injured. New developments out of Ethiopia tonight, where the Minister of Transport there says preliminary data recovered from the black boxes of the Ethiopian Airlines crash revealed similarities to October's Lion Air crash. Investigators have recovered all relevant data from the black boxes but did not elaborate on the similarities. 157 people were killed in that crash last week. The crash and those similarities have led aviation authorities in other countries, including here in the U.S., to ground the 737 MAX 8 airplane. We have an update to a story we told you about last night. Walhalla police say an arrest has been made in a deadly crash Saturday. The coroner's office says 76-year-old Lois Winkler was a front seat passenger in a vehicle that was hit by another car. Police say the driver of that car has been arrested. 29-year-old Robert Pelfrey faces charges of felony DUI resulting in death, driving under suspension for DUI, and open container. He was discharged from Oconee Memorial Hospital. He had been injured in that crash, and then he was taken to the detention center. No bond was set. He will stay in jail. Greenville County deputies say Highway 290 is back open tonight after parts of it were shut down this morning after a man's body was found inside a truck along the road. Deputies got that call around 5:30 about a Ford F-150 with its hazard lights on along Locust Hill Road. Once they got there, deputies say they found a man dead in the driver's seat with a gunshot wound. Highway 290 between Mush Creek and Duck Lane was closed for several hours as they investigated. The man's identity has not been released. A fire destroyed a mobile home in Greenville County. It happened out there in the Berea area. Firefighters were called out to Saluda Dam Road early this morning at the Riverview Mobile Home Park. When they got there, they found the home engulfed completely in flames. Firefighters didn't find anyone inside, and they're still trying to figure out who owns this mobile home. No one was hurt. The cause is still under investigation. Next on 7 News at 10, lots of color in one upstate celebration. We'll take you to the Holy Festival and explain its origins that come from long ways away, and find out why these folks were shaving their heads on this St. Patrick's Day. Don't worry, it's all for a great cause.